Are you a health, wellness, or life coach in the process of launching and growing your coaching business, and you've been considering working with a business coach? I've currently got a few spots open for one-on-one coaching with me inside my 12-week container. If you're interested to know more, just head to the link in the show notes, and you can also book a free discovery call with me there. In that call, I'll walk you through the exact framework to implement in your coaching business so that you can start fast-tracking your way to making an income and an impact, doing what lights you up, and helping others. And I'll talk you through how I could support you every step of the way so it feels easeful and enjoyable without the overwhelm. Hello, welcome to today's episode of the podcast where I am giving you 5 powerful actions that you can take if you feel like growth in your coaching business is a bit slow or things feel a bit up and down and you're struggling sometimes to move through those down times or those quiet times. So these are 5 actions that can help you move through that and keep building momentum in your coaching business. Hello and welcome to the Life First Coaching Business Podcast. I'm your host, Leonie, and I'm all about helping new coaches like you create life first businesses you love by building out the key foundations you need for an easeful and joyful business, where you get to make an impact doing what lights you up and helping others. We talk about the strategies, the systems, and the mindset you need to make your coaching business work for you. So let's dive in. So 5 powerful actions you can take when things are feeling a bit slow in your coaching business. First of all, I want to say that highs and lows in business are part and parcel of being a business owner. It is a roller coaster, it really is. There are extreme highs, there are some extreme lows, but often there are ups and downs that sit somewhere between those extreme highs and lows. But it's very changeable. Like, it's not just a steady kind of increase or a steady improvement in how you're feeling and the results you're getting. It's always up and down. And after 6 years in business, I've experienced this so many times. And the thing that I've learned is that when you're going through those dips, maybe you've come out of a period where things felt like they were moving and you felt really excited and you felt like you had momentum and inquiries were coming in and you were booking clients, discovery calls were landing in your calendar, and then suddenly you hit a bit of a quiet dip where there's not so many inquiries or engagements, people aren't booking in, and you can get into this mindset of, oh my goodness, what's happened? Everything's gone wrong. And you can start to catastrophize, and losing that momentum can really get to you. And what I've learned is a really important business skill is moving through those periods, whether they last a few days or a bit longer, that moving through them and moving through them quicker relies on how you approach them, what your mindset is in that space. Because it is easy to spiral in that space and to actually perpetuate the problem, because you'll start thinking, oh, what's even the point in me showing up? Nothing's working. Things like that. Those kind of thoughts can start to creep in, and that affects the actions that you're taking. It really affects the energy behind your actions. So a huge skill in business is to learn how to approach those times in your business in the right way so that you can maintain momentum, you can maintain the right energy, and you can feel proactive, that you're doing something proactive and not letting that experience, that external experience, the external things that are going on around you affect what you internally feel, how you show up, the knowing and trust you have in your inevitable success, even though it's not going to feel like a steady growth. There's going to be those ups and downs. And when you can trust that that's the process, that's normal, and that there's always more coming. And actually those down times or those dips are actually an opportunity for you to take stock, to reset, and therefore feel grateful for them and take them as an opportunity rather than something to stop you in your tracks. Now, if you're really early on in your business phase and you're listening to this and saying, well, Leonie, I don't even feel like I've got to that busy phase yet, I haven't got to that point where there ever has felt like momentum, please know that that's also normal. It's also normal to hit those frustrating feelings in the early stages. And the way I like to help my clients when they're feeling like that is that everything you're doing in those early stages of your business, those very early stages, is like planting seeds. Everything is going to flower, everything is going to bloom, but you have to plant the seeds and you have to nurture the seeds, and that's part of the process. And you're not going to have that beautiful garden or that beautiful, successful coaching business until you've nurtured those seeds and you've planted them all and you've made sure they're in the right soil and you've made sure that they're watered properly and all those things. So that's also another normal feeling to have. And it takes time for people to understand who you are, what you do, how you help. And I'm sure you've heard it many times, the number of touch points that people have to have with a brand or a business nowadays before they're ready to buy. So it's not the norm to suddenly hit the ground running unless you've already got a big audience, you've already got a big network, you're already known for something adjacent to what you do. Those circumstances are different. But if you're starting from scratch, you're building from zero, it's normal to have that phase at the beginning where it feels like, I'm doing everything, I'm doing all the work, when am I going to see the fruits of my labor? But you need to make sure that you're focusing on the right things and that you've got the right foundations underneath the strategy of what you're doing, so that, as I said, you've got the right soil, you've got the right seeds and all those things. That's making sure your business foundations are solid. You've got a clear niche, you've got really magnetic messaging, you've got a really good offer, you know how to sell that offer, not just attract people and then not know how to convert them. So make sure you've got those foundations in place and then plant the seeds. So number one, the first action I want you to take if you're feeling like things are slow is that reframing. Reframe what that actually means. Understand that those slow periods are normal and necessary for long-term success. And the irony that you'll probably relate to is that when we're in really busy phases, we're often thinking to ourselves, oh, if only things would quieten down so I could take a breather and I could rest a bit or I could take stock. And then when those quiet times come, instead of taking the opportunity to actually do that, often we'll start scrambling and turning into like this scattergun approach. And that's where we can often end up making some mistakes or end up making some rash decisions. Whereas actually, when those slow periods come, if you say, okay, this is an opportunity for me to pause, to center myself, to look at what's been going on in my business, take a chance for a reset, then you are taking that opportunity, the opportunity that the universe is giving you to pause. So definitely reframe what those slower periods mean and actually think that maybe this is an offering of something that you need and it's going to benefit you and allow you to springboard off into the next phase of growth in your business. And then number two, take that chance then once you've paused and you've reflected to review and tweak. So audit your strategy, look at things like your messaging, your offer, look at how you've been selling and take some time to really think, where could I make some improvements? Where could I refine things a bit? When you've got a clear process around how you want to take your ideal clients on that journey to seeing you as their solution and understanding the solution you have to offer, then you can look at the different stages on that journey and really just take that time to review it and see where you could make some tweaks and use that as an opportunity to do that. Then number three, instead of just sitting and waiting for things to pick up, things to get moving, or instead of doing things like I said, where you'd panic and be like, oh, I better put out some more content. Maybe I should start a TikTok account. Maybe I should start a YouTube channel. Actually, just pause, reset. Don't suddenly try and do big strategies that you haven't been considering for a while and they're just a bit random. But take it as an opportunity to reach out personally to people who've either connected with your business before, who've worked with you before, who've shown interest in your... Obviously, you should be doing this regularly in your strategy anyway. But when you have those quieter weeks, reaching out to people, or even reaching out to people that you haven't spoken to yet and just making a connection, this can really give you that feeling of like, I'm proactively moving things forward here. I'm having conversations, I'm connecting with people, and give you that spark you need to feel like something's moving, something's happening. So especially if you're in a place where you're like, oh, no one's engaging with my content, posting more content is just going to build on that same feeling that you have and probably help make you spiral even more. So actually, this is an opportunity to do something different and shift away from maybe posting content and actually reach out to some people directly, and just making that shift, whatever it is. If there's something you've been doing that you've been maybe a bit disheartened with the results, instead of doing more of that thing, shift to something else. And a really good thing to focus on is making some direct connections with people. Then maybe take a chance to think of what are some things that I could do now that are going to serve me in the future. Is there some things I can batch? Is there some forward thinking I can do? Can I set up a system? Something that's going to save you time later on is a really good way to spend the time in that downtime, because then when it gets busy again, you've freed up some of your energy, you've freed up some of your time. So those tasks that have been sitting on your to-do list that you know, if I set up this system, it's going to really help me. And if you've got a huge to-do list of those things, don't get overwhelmed. Pick one thing on there, because you'll feel like you've moved forward. You feel like you've taken some steps in the right direction, especially if it's something you've been thinking about for a while, but you haven't been able to get to. Now is the opportunity to tick one of those things off and just feel like, yes, I got that thing done, and it's going to save me time in the long run. Amazing. Those are the best things to focus on. And then number 5, use this time for some self-care, some time to work on your mindset. Take that pause, take that reset, go off and enjoy yourself for an afternoon. Go and touch the grass, get out in nature, take some time to reflect, go and sit with a journal in a cafe, have a lovely coffee for yourself, and just use the time wisely and re-energize yourself to keep moving forward. And those are the 5 things that are going to really help you just shift your thinking around those dips, around those low moments where you feel like momentum has grinded to a halt. It's a chance to reset and springboard yourself off for bigger things to come, and really take that opportunity. And don't spiral into the mindset of, this means I'm doing everything wrong, this means that I don't know what I'm doing. But actually say, this is natural, this is normal, this is what happens in business, and I'm going to take this opportunity and use it to serve me when things get busier again. So I hope that's been really, really helpful for you. Maybe just save this episode for yourself and come back to it. If there's a time when you are hitting one of these weeks or one of these phases where things feel a bit quiet, this is a great episode that you can come back to and just give yourself a bit of a pep talk and take those 5 actions to help you move forward and build some more momentum again. So a short one for today. I hope you really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to chat to you again next week. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really, really appreciate having you here. I love hearing that you've been enjoying the podcast and you found it valuable. Please send me a DM on Instagram if you're enjoying it. It's kind of hard when you're doing a podcast. You don't really know who's listening to it, and you don't have that two-way feedback that you have with other platforms. So I'd really love to hear from you. And if you've got a couple of seconds spare in your day, please leave a 5-star rating and a little review, what you like about the show, because that helps other people to see it and find it and get value from it too. So I would appreciate that so much if you've got the time. But otherwise, have an amazing week, and I'll catch you next week. Take care. Oh, before you go, you need to grab yourself a copy of the best and most useful freebie on the internet for coaches. It's my free 1-page client attraction blueprint. It takes you through the exact 7 steps you need to go from 0 clients to filling your wait list. And you can map it out all on 1 page, and there's a mini training that comes with it that walks you through that process. So head to the link in the show notes and grab your copy now.